Hey, welcome to the Healthy Postnatal Buddy podcast of your postnatal expert, Peter Lapp. That, as always, would be me. This is the podcast for the 24th of November, 2024. And day before music means I have a guest on. Today, I'm talking to Dr. Jessie Hehmeyer, and we are talking functional medicine. I know what you're thinking, but hold on. Dr. Hehmeyer is a functional medicine doctor, and we are talking about basically everything to do with functional medicine. The right approach, the wrong approach, the over-reliance on supplements that some people have, the need for quick results and how that often doesn't work, all that type of stuff. You're going to love this one. So without further ado, here we go. I could ask a million questions, but the first one would have to be, functional medicine gets a bad rep sometimes. We all know of good people and bad people in our industries, but what do you mean by data-driven functional medicine?
Yeah, you got it. Okay, good.
Cool.
All right.
That was a question.
I answer. Okay, good. You got it. I will answer. Yeah. So by data-driven functional medicine, I mean that we are using labs, like actual objective numbers, to understand both where are barriers to healing and where are points of leverage or opportunities to promote healing. Okay. And the labs that I order are going to be really specific to the individual, what their symptoms are, what they're struggling with, what their commitments are in their health. So we'll order those labs and that will give us insight into how the body is using. Now, I would say beyond data, I'm going to expand that and say I use a lot of information. And by that, I mean beyond, a very comprehensive intake, which I know a lot of us do. That's not unique to me. But, one of the things I do with the people who I work with is we actually work off of a shared document where they track their life. Right. For a couple of weeks, right? Nutrition, what they're eating, what they're drinking, how they're sleeping and moving or not, and stress levels and how their symptoms are showing up over time. And, that really gives me information that no lab test can give me, right? It also minimizes the need to spend a lot of money on some of these expensive functional medicine tests that when we're really paying attention, we can tease things out just in that manner.
Yeah, because that's huge, isn't it? Because quite often when you see a doctor, their first step is, okay, we're going to get some labs. So that's in the UK, £300, so say $400. But then we'll order some more and then we'll order some more. And before you know it, you spend quite a lot of money, indeed, on things like you said, that if you had a little bit more awareness, if you will, and it written down in front of you, as the patient quite often, then you could just say, okay, this is part of what I'm struggling with. And that would give you an insight into what the solution would actually be.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I always think it's, fun to, when I reconnect with people after the period between our first conversation and the second, right? They've done their labs, they've been tracking, we get back together and when we turn our attention to their tracking, I love hearing what people have to say about, what did you learn? What did you notice? What surprised you that you just didn't see that you were doing? Or, and sometimes people are like, I didn't realize how gosh darn tired I am all the time. Like, yeah, I thought I was tired, but I'm like tired all the time, right? Maybe it'll be something like that. Or sometimes people are saying, oh my gosh, I thought I was having 5 drinks a week. It's really 15. I just didn't realize it was that much. And, so it's beyond what I take from it that allows me to guide people. It's equally valuable for the insights people walk away with without me saying a thing.
Yeah, because quite often you'll then be able to say, okay, clearly, especially when you're talking about alcohol, very relevant in the UK at least. People tend to have no idea how much they're drinking. And other than they see the empty bottle collection at the end of the week, we have a big blue bin.
What they have to take to recycling.
Yes, exactly. You have to put it out on the street for the recycling van to pick up. And they're like, I'm not sure how I went through 14 bottles of X, Y, Z. UK drinking culture is special compared to American drinking culture. But it's quite often, it can then give people, indeed, instead of like what you're saying, when you have that level of insight, it allows you to make lifestyle changes before you start taking medicine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before you start taking medicines, and, I definitely use supplements in a targeted way, but we don't want to turn it into like green pharmacy where we're just using a supplement instead of a medication either. Right. So when people can make the shift such that they don't need either, but it makes a big difference.
Yes, because that is quite often, again, that's something you find with the crappier colleagues in your field, so to speak, right? Yes. And you'll be familiar with them all. Every industry, like I always said, every industry has good people and bad people. The bottom 30% in any industry always sucks. Doesn't matter whether you're a GP, a personal trainer,
carpenter, plumber,
whatever.
Matter.
The bottom 30% is terrible. The issue is, of course, that we have social media now. And a lot of people who are, let's say, better at social media than, say, you are and than I am. The 100%. Marketing guys, right? They're at the top and they're ruining the industries for us. And they usually they are huge on supplements without actually explaining to their clients what the supplements are for and what the end goal even is.
100%. And when I do recommend a supplement, I actually create a document for each, and in that document, it provides the what, the how, and the why, right? I want people to be very clear, like you're saying, Peter, on why am I spending the time and the money on the supplement, right? And of course, there are some supplements that people might have side effects with, and I'm very conservative, right? I want people to be very, very clear, even if I'm using a supplement where you maybe need 20 times the dose to have a side effect. Typically, there are always outliers. So I want people to know, okay, be on the lookout for this. If anything comes up, reach out to me. We will, we'll pause it and we'll figure out what's going on. But being very clear on the why. And also, like the long-term game is, reducing the number of supplements. This is not who wants to be taking 15 supplements for the rest of their lives? My gosh,
Yeah, and you'll have had clients like this as well, because I've had clients like this where I ask them, okay, so what do you take every day? And these are like face-to-face clients, and they'll show up the following week when I see them, they'll show up with a shopping bag full of stuff.
Literally.
Not all prescribed, right? Let's be honest. A lot of people listening to this will be terrible for this. In the same way that I am. Instagram recommends like a million things that I should buy. It all sounds very tempting. All the ads these days are wonderful and slick and smooth. And it's very tempting to therefore say you subscribe something, and then people are like, but I'm also not sleeping well. So I'll take some magnesium, and I'm taking this, and I'm taking that. And to offset the magnesium, especially in my case, we're dealing with what you used to call older moms, which is a horrible term, but people who become mothers in like their late 30s, so the early stages of perimenopause.
Geriatric.
Geriatric. It's genuine. I did an interview with the BBC a while ago, and that was exercise in older moms. And I was like, Jesus, you have to change the terms, guys. You have to change the name. You can't call someone in their 40 older mom. I know what you're going for, but but when you hit that perimenopausal stage, there's a lot of stuff now aimed at women saying, take these supplements, take those supplements. And therefore, it's very tempting. You must have come across that with people that rock up and they've got a big shopping bag full of stuff.
Yes.
And it either doesn't work or it works against each other almost.
Absolutely. And I have to say, I actually kind of find that fun because, I'll do a supplement audit. I'll say, if you have too many supplements to list them, take 5 photos, line them up, take as many photos as you need, send them all to me. We'll create a spreadsheet. I create a spreadsheet. And then as we get information, I go through and I say, okay, these 5 get rid of. These 3, your dose is completely off. It's too high, it's too low, whatever it is, right? Anyway, you get the picture, right? We go through these 4, they're garbage, right? Like they're actually nonsense, and so we get to make sense of it, and ultimately, more often than not in those cases, leave people with a significant reduction in their supplements, and maybe even more importantly, an understanding of why they're taking what they're taking. Like the last guy standing, the ones we're going to keep them on. It's like, okay, well, what for? What are they actually doing? Because like you were saying, I mean, so often with these snazzy marketing tools out there, people get mesmerized and they show up and they go, I have no idea why I'm taking all of these things, but I know when I started, it was really important.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the thing, the urgency that these things can create sometimes. Because let's be honest, by the time people get to you, right? Because it's functional medicine, at least in the UK, works different from the way the NHS works. In that I can go to my doctor for free. I can just rock up and just go, get me an appointment. Now, obviously, I'm a middle-aged white guy, right? So I go see my doctor by the time my leg is hanging off. I'm not going to see it before that. And I think most people are like that, especially moms, especially listeners to this podcast. Most of them, they put their husband first, they put their kids first, and therefore, when they're feeling run down, they're not going to see the doctor. When an arm is hanging off, they might consider it. If it doesn't interfere
if their
with
kid doesn't need that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And therefore, by the time they get to you, that urgency is really quite high. As in, they've overcome many obstacles and have finally taken, or there are many obstacles in their way, they're finally taking action. Whereas with buying stuff off Instagram is artificially, it creates the urgency. It says, you're not sleeping well? No, none of my listeners are sleeping particularly well because they're all mothers, right? And so buy this pill. That's a much lower bar. So by the time they've come to you, they've already spent hundreds of pounds, hundreds of dollars, usually on alternative solutions. Let me put them that way. Maybe some work, maybe some don't. But indeed, if you don't know why they work, if you only buy them because you've seen the Instagram ad, then by the time they come to you, you must have quite a lot of clearing up to do. It's in tidying up of messes, so to speak.
That is well said. Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of sorting out of, what's useful, what's not useful, and what's downright, harmful, right? Yeah. I'm sure, like you mentioned magnesium. How many people have you seen who come to you with, gosh, I just can't figure out what's going on with my digestion. I'm going to the bathroom all day long and my bowel movements are loose. And you look at their supplements and you're like, well, sorry, it's your magnesium.
Yeah.
That magnesium citrate is not working for your body, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. And it'll be a lot of stuff. And so where do you start, right? So you have the audit and you ask people to take a few weeks to write down whatever they're doing, what their life is actually like, which I think, puts things. This is why, unlike some of my colleagues, I don't mind functional medicine practitioners like at all, because I think fundamentally it is so valuable to take an individual approach and say, take a few weeks to really get to know your patient. Because let's be honest, at least within the UK, within the health service and even private healthcare, no doctor of mine is going to ask me to fill in a food journal, right? They're just not going to do it. So where do you practically start with people when you see them coming in that state and say, okay, you have your few weeks, and then from there on, what we find, these are the actions we'll likely take first.
Yeah, well, I would even step back in that first conversation as I get to know what's going on with that person, what their symptoms are, what their goals are, what their conundrums are, all those things, their family health history, their personal health history, all that stuff. As we go through that, we ultimately move towards, okay, let's figure out what information we need. Let's get that data. Let's get those labs. But also, in that first appointment, we begin engaging in what I call authoring your vision of vitality for your health in your life, your vision of vitality for your life and your health in your life. And that's really a self-authored intention, right? So there's a process I walk people through, and where we start with that process is by doing a little bit of time traveling. So I invite people to time travel to the 5-year future. And, you know, for those of you listening, I really encourage you to do this exercise like today, right now kind of thing, right? And, you know, if you time travel to the 5-year future and wrap your head around the number that's going to be showing up on, you know, number of birthday candles you have, right? And kind of envision what it's like to be you 5 years from now with your health and vitality as you intend and desire they occur, right? So I'll be 52 years old in 5 years. And so, you know, that same time traveling exercise, when you arrive there and you start to envision what that's like, you're going to tell the story of what it is to be you thriving in this 5-year future. And you're going to tell the story in first person present tense, right? So it might be something like, I'm 52 and my body is strong, resilient, and moves about the world with grace and ease. You know, whatever's there for you, your own, your words are your poetry, right? So you're telling that story of what it is to be you thriving, and also, you know, really looking at what is it like for you to move about the world, to get dressed in the morning, to be with your family and your friends, and, you know, engage in your professional endeavors, whatever's there for you. You're telling the story of your experience in this 5-year future. And that becomes a gateway to move along to complete the process of authoring one's vision of vitality. But fundamentally, when, you know, Yogi Berra said something like, if you don't know where you're going, you'll probably get there, right? And so to me, it's like, if you know, we want you to know where you're going and also why you're going there. And both of those are really, really important to me, because, you know, making shifts, the shifts that we step into in this work are not always easy. And they're not always like, you know, compelling, at least on a like day-to-day basis, right? And so we need to really tap into what is it for, and hold that in our you know, reality, like keep that alive so that we can remember what we're going towards. Because typically, if that doesn't occur, if people aren't connected to their own unique why, it devolves into an exercise of self-aggression, right? It's, you know, I'm good, I'm bad, it's deprivation, it's overindulgence. It just really doesn't typically turn out well. And I really believe one of the key reasons is that people have not been invited to get really clear on their unique vision for their health and their life.
Yeah, no, that's a very interesting point, because obviously a lot of my physio colleagues and personal training colleagues use the same sort of things in where you see yourself with goals, and then you work back from that, right? But especially when it comes to things like lifestyle changes that you're talking about a lot. So instead of, you know, like I said, selling supplements, looking at what your lifestyle behavior is actually like. And you know, this food is huge. Alcohol is massive. Sleep is epically important.
Yes.
But all those things usually come change is always difficult at the best of times. Anyone working in any office will tell you this, that when they change a system, everybody in the office loses their mind. Getting people to change their lifestyle, however, is significantly more difficult.
Well, and I would just say we can't. Like, I cannot make anyone change their lifestyle, right? And so it really does need this, you know, I do these consultations before I engage with someone, before we agree, because it's a mutual agreement to work together, right? And if someone says to me, you know, how are you going to make me fill in the blank? I'm like, we're not a match. Nope.
No,
if I had that superpower, you know.
We'd all be a lot richer. No, that's a really fair point. That's a really good point, because the lifestyle changes. Yeah, you need to find your own motivation. And
Yes.
all you can do, as I suppose, I used to have this slogan where I just said, I am just your guide towards where you want to be, right? I can show you
Your
the way.
guide and your
But
partner,
yeah,
absolutely. And I'm going to help you see barriers that maybe you don't see. And I'm
mhm,
going to help you put tools in your toolkit that you don't know exist. That's for sure. But
yeah.
also, I'm not going to be in your kitchen on a Wednesday afternoon making your lunch. You
No,
know?
exactly. No, that's a very good point. So what things do you come across a lot then when people are at that early stage and you say,
Yes.
okay, these are the things that we're looking at. Picture yourself 5 years from now.
Yeah, yeah.
What are the obstacles you most often come across people
Oh,
having?
goodness. Well, a few different things. One is just like the inherited approach of all or nothing, right? In most
Sure.
people's minds, they're like, I have to do Whole30, or I either it's Whole30, like
Yeah.
ban all unhealthy foods forevermore,
Yeah.
or either that or I'm eating a pint of ice cream, right? Like those are the two
Yeah.
opposing options. When really, what people, I think when they hear that, like, oh yeah, I really have been doing this overindulgence and deprivation tango, back and forth for decades, right? When people get that and they start to see a new possibility of authoring their middle ground,
Mhm.
right? Where they're able to honor their health as sacred. And that includes their emotional health, their social health, like actually being a human being in this world,
Yeah.
which might include a glass of wine,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So, like figuring out like, okay, that dance, like, yeah, that's something I'm interested in, right? I'm interested in creating a path ahead where it's not too tight, not too loose, right? Where I'm doing the things that I know are nourishing my health and my body, and also, my soul, so to speak, right? And so bringing it all together. So when people get that aha moment, it starts to shift everything. And I let people know, right, like this is 1 year is one lap, right? There is
Right.
no quick fix. And so in 1 year, you're going to encounter all of who you are. You're going to encounter all of your emotions, the ones you enjoy and the ones that you would find challenging, so to speak, right? You're going to encounter all of life in the logistical sense, right? You're going to encounter the vacations and the birthdays, and you're going to encounter your typical Wednesday, and you're going to encounter what it's like to be with some friends and other friends, and all those different things. And that's really, part of navigating what it is to elevate your health requires encountering those challenges. There's just no way around it, right? And so it is an endeavor of, I think about it like crossing the monkey bars of change, right? You're grabbing one monkey bar and then you're doing the best to grab the next. And at some point, the predictable future is you're gonna fall off the monkey bars, right? Because if you're gonna cross the monkey bars, you're gonna fall off at some point. And so even there is a practice of like not making it wrong, like not beating yourself up for falling off the monkey bars, but also like, whatever upsets there is there. But we want to get you back on the monkey bars as quickly as possible and also use it as a learning opportunity. You're going to make a mistake in the future. Let's do the best we can to not to have it be a different mistake, right? That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. So it really is, it is, to navigate what it is to be that, in that middle ground and figure that out in different situations and with different emotions. It takes time and practice.
That's a wonderful thing you said. The 1 year is one lap, because I come across this a tremendous amount with some people where they, you work with someone for 3 or 4 months, and in the run up to a holiday or whatever, or especially when it comes to diet, they'll find they can cut down on alcohol quite a bit. They can tidy their diet up quite a bit. Usually during a period where there's actually nothing happening, or when they're around certain people. So we all have friends that are, let's say, we have our good friends and our bad friends, as our parents used to call us, our good and our bad influences, at least, right? We love all these people, but with some people you eat a bit more, and some people you drink a bit more, and all that sort of stuff. I have one one client as a personal training client. I've known him for years. And, in Scotland, because it's winter, rugby season is coming up. And every year, rugby season, his friends are coming to stay and they go watch rugby together and they drink all weekend. And think of it like every weekend is Super Bowl.
Right.
And you just think, dude, we go over this every single, the rest of the year, he's fine. And over that few weeks, he can put on quite a bit of weight because he can put away, well, he's Scottish and therefore they can drink quite a bit, even though compared to his friends, he doesn't drink that much anymore. But it's interesting that you're saying that, because if I were to only work with someone for the 6 months, say March till September, then he would never experience that rugby
season
winter.
with you.
And,
yes.
And therefore he would make no progress. The following year, he would be right back where he started, because there wouldn't have been anyone to guide him through that rugby season, at least putting the brakes on a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And just like you said, putting the brakes on a little bit, right? You're not suggesting he become, completely abstain from alcohol. It's just like, no, can we just play a better game? Like just a better game.
Yeah, exactly. And exactly. We'll just make it very simple, right? You have when your friend orders a second pint of beer, because it all comes in a pint here, right? So there's half a liter at a time for anybody listening to this. You have a glass of water, just to not mess it up too much.
Yes.
And he's completely fine with that. He still gets buzzed, I think is the popular description that the cool kids use. But he doesn't get blindly stung, as in falling asleep in the restaurant drunk anymore, which used to be the go-to, which gives you some sort of insight into the drinking habits of the average Scottish male. So it's, all I can do is slow that down a bit. But it does mean that from a weight management perspective, at least by the time March comes around, he's gained a bit of weight, but he's not gained a tremendous amount of weight, feeling lethargic, stopped exercising, and all that type of stuff. His lifestyle is still intact. He's just a little bit heavier, which is, fine.
Right. And he knows what to do to shift it. And then, the thing is, like, maybe not, but maybe next rugby season, he'll play an even better game. Wouldn't that be fun? If he,
exactly.
Just each year, just kind of chipped away at those habits just a little bit. And, to see how that evolves over time.
Yeah, because that's interesting, because you mentioned that all or nothing approach. We are very tempted, we are very driven, especially these days, to have results immediately, right?
Yeah.
We want short-term results. I'm sure you get a lot of people coming to you that say, I want to feel better tomorrow. I felt crap for 9 years.
Yeah.
But I'm coming
but
to
suddenly
you,
it's urgent. It must happen now.
All of a sudden, it has to happen now, and I need it to happen. I need you to give me a magic pill and just make it happen. This is where a lot of the, let's say, less scrupulous practitioners come in any industry.
Right.
So how do you counter that a little bit? Because let's be honest, we are, as healthcare professionals, you're fighting billion-dollar industries with regards to food and alcohol and socialization and entertainment, even Netflix, let's be honest. Getting people off the couch and moving when you're competing with Netflix, that's difficult enough. So how do you manage the expectations of people that come to you?
Well, a few things. One is, if people are really set in that mindset, like must have a quick solution, I'll just let them know I'm not their solution, right? I'm not going to be their partner, right? Go to Instagram and find your answer there, right? It's not going to be me, which is fine with me. I love it when I get to be a part of someone's health journey and partner with them. But what's most important to me is that there's integrity to it, right? Because this is, I'm in it to win it for the long run. I'm not interested in, I don't post before and after photos of the people who I work with. That to me is like, oh gosh, no. It's really, like I do see this as a sacred health journey. And so if someone is not in that mindset, then we're just not going to be a good fit. But sometimes people arrive in that, that mindset.
Yeah.
But even as they speak, they'll start to kind of sniff out the not truth in that, right? Like okay, I'd like quick results, but also I realize it's taken me a decade to get here. And I really don't like the way I feel, but I also know it's going to take time, right? It's kind of fun to hear people doing the tango between like this unrealistic expectation and then like, oh yeah, but in real life, I do know it's going to take something. So if someone at least has the door cracked a little bit, that, like they are tuned into the reality of the situation, then it's okay. Then we can move ahead. And listen, it can be motivating for a lot of people, right? It is how crummy they feel that becomes a bit of, I think about like we make changes given by the carrot dangling and the stick on the back, right? And that feeling crummy, like I don't want anyone to feel crummy, but if you're going to feel crummy, use it. Use it to your favor, right? Look in that rear view mirror and say, I'm not going back there. No way. I will do whatever I need to do to not have that happen again, right?
Yeah, no, like you said, that's a really powerful, that's a very powerful motivator as well, to just not feel terrible anymore.
Yes.
Not feel tired anymore, that type of stuff. What I come across a lot with people who have been, let's say, feeling crummy for a while, is that they just don't know where to start anymore.
Yes.
Right? And they're like, okay, they're seeing you. They finally made the decision to see you. They've taken batches of supplements. They've already spent so much money. How do you slow them down almost?
Well, one is, getting the numbers, like getting the labs, and actually not just getting the labs, but just like I do with supplements, I think of a primary job of mine is acting as an educator, right? Like the term doctor comes from docere, which means to teach. To me, I'm a teacher, right? And so I walk people through their labs so they understand what I'm seeing as it relates to them and their health and their body and their symptoms, right? So just right there, it really starts to shift how people are perceiving their health. And then based on that, we're going to take our next steps forward. Now, I very commonly will start with, I will never use just one thing as the first step, but certainly nutrition is foundational. So, like I said, crossing the monkey bars, we're going to look for the first 1 or 2 points of leverage that will uniquely support that person in front of me, right? And typically it's a combination of yes and less. Like the yes, what we want you to focus on and take on, something that's new, and the less, something that is interfering with your health, that's interfering with your weight, that's interfering with your energy or your sleep quality or your hormones or whatever the case may be, your digestion. And we're going to reduce it. And there are times where we'll say, let's give it a 6-week break, 8-week break, whatever it is, so that we can really, if someone's really feeling crummy, you want a fast track to healing, okay. We're not going to do it all at once, but let's make these critical shifts so that we can change the inertia.
Yeah, so you can slow things down a little bit and all that type of stuff. So with regards to the testing, because I'm always fascinated by the testing. I did an interview a long time ago, like 3 or 4 years ago, start of the podcast, with Dr. Kelly Burton, who's another functional medicine specialist, and she said that she recommends, because you're talking about the education element, she said she recommends people get tested at least once a year, get a full checkup, and learn how to read your own stuff. Because let's be honest, especially with women, but even with men, everyone's an individual, and we are, most of the time things need to be within a certain range. Sure. But if let's say my testosterone, right? Give the white man example. Let's say my testosterone levels are usually, because I'm bald and therefore I'm told that that's a high testosterone thing. So let's assume that my testosterone levels are usually quite high. And then a year later or 2 years later, they're a fair bit lower, but still within normal range. What if I only get tested once? The doctor would say, yeah, you're within range, you're completely fine. Yeah, you might feel terrible.
Yeah.
You're within range, so you're fine. Whereas if I compile all my tests together and have a regular checkup, so to speak,
Yeah.
there's actually, it's much lower than it. There's a change here, personal to me.
Yes.
So where are you on that type of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think about it like your personal health dashboard, right? We all, based on our, like, listen, I like everyone doing comprehensive lab assessment once a year, but then, there are going to be your unique lab markers that you really, really want to pay attention to. Right. Maybe it's testosterone, maybe it's inflammation, maybe it's certain nutrients, whatever it may be. Those are going to be, like your red flag, like dashboard, like let's keep, those are the ones that you're looking at when you're driving down the street kind of thing. Right. And so being able to understand those for sure. But, also you do want to work with someone, for in the case that you mentioned, let's say there's a measurable drop in testosterone still within lab normal ranges, but measurable. I'm going like, well, why is it? Are you over converting to estrogen? Yeah. Is your zinc low? Like are your, like what, so being able to make sure that, okay, yes, you want to be able to notice that yourself and flag it and have a conversation. But also make sure you're working with someone who can peel back the onion and help you figure out what is at the source of that. But absolutely.
No, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't saying that people can just get their own test results and read them themselves and then take action accordingly. No, you still need to be, the human body is so remarkably complex. I was reading, I don't know if you've heard of it, Bill Bryson, the author, wrote a book, which was The Body, a Guide for Occupants. Something like that.
Okay.
And it's basically because he did an interview to promote the book, and he said, listen, the thing is, I drive my car and I know very little about how to fix my car. Right? I know very little. I know when it starts making the noise it's not supposed to make, I take it to a mechanic. He said, amazingly enough, he said, I spend maybe an hour a day in my car. He said, I spend 24 hours a day in my body, and he's a bit older. I think he's like in his 50s now. I'll say 50s. I've been in my body for 50 plus years, 24 hours a day, and I know nothing about it. And I'm very much the same. When my knee hurts, I know my knee hurts. And I kind of know I have more of an education than other people do. But I don't know, indeed, like when you're saying, if certain hormone levels are off, I have no idea whether that's related to zinc or anything like that.
Right.
So, getting a medical professional to help with that interpretation seems quite important.
Yeah. And I mean, I would say even for myself, like I know this stuff, but I still work with someone because it's hard to be objective when it's yourself. It's like I just
that whole physician heal thyself thing is very much
you can do some stuff. You can definitely, right? But at a certain, it's still very useful to have a partner in this, no matter who you are.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So what are you thinking that if I could tell people that, listen, this is the one thing you really want to take away from anything with regards to your health and the actions you want to take, say you're not sleeping well and all that sort of stuff. What is the one thing that you're like, okay, everybody should know this, everybody should do this, that type
I would say the one thing is I want you to know is a better game is better than a perfect game. Right. So give up all hope of the perfect game and step into playing a better game. And I mean playing a better game right now, like right now. when you sit down and you have your next meal, what's a better game? Forget a perfect game. What's a better game? When you go out with your friends for a drink, what's a better game? Give up all hope of a perfect game. When you think about exercising and you're really meant to get that 45-minute, high intensity workout in, and, life got in the way, your kids, your family, your work, whatever it is, what would be a better game? If all you can do is get out and walk for 10 minutes, do that. Right? Just something is always better than nothing. So my encouragement is to be in that looking of what is my best game right now, and live that over and over and over and over again.
And it sounds like when you're talking about that, when you're talking about the better game, you're dominantly talking about the best lifestyle change you can make in that moment, rather than
exactly
buying whatever is flashy in
100%. 100%. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And to your point, right, that better game might be, I need to get off that social media, or maybe
I think we all do, yeah.
Right. I need to shut it down at least 45 minutes before my head's on the pillow, coming up with your own boundaries, right? There's, the things that boundaries are set to help us, not to harm us, right? So creating your own self-authored, what helps me kind of strategies.
Yeah, because this is the beauty about being an adult. As I always say to my wife will sit on the sofa at like 9 o'clock in the evening sometimes and just say, I'm tired. Do you think it's all right if I go to bed? I'm not going to say how old she is, but she's a little bit older than I am, but you're an adult human being. You can do whatever you want, right? But we are very much constrained, obviously, and I always blame the parents, right? We're usually constrained by our upbringing, but those type of things, do you think it's all right if I take care of myself? It's such a strange question to ask.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a pretty common one, and I'm going to say especially for women.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Right, because it's kind of, socialized to put everybody else first and things like that. So it does take some practice to give yourself permission to, I actually could do the thing that best honors my health right now.
Yeah, exactly. So if everybody can take that, if nothing else, if you take that from today's episode,
yes,
I think will be very useful. On a happy note, we've covered quite a lot of ground. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on that you're like, oh, absolutely, you have to mention this?
No, this has been great, Peter. A total treat.
No, lovely. Thank you very much for that. That was superb. On that happy note, I will press stop record here. And press stop record is exactly what I did. Thanks very much to Jessie for coming on. I've really enjoyed that conversation. What my initial approach is when it comes to functional medicine doctors and all that sort of stuff, same as chiropractors and all that sort of stuff. I think you are familiar. If you listen to this podcast regularly, then you're familiar with my approach. But like I said, and like I started with, it's any field is full of good people and bad people. And I think there is a lot to be said for someone like Dr. Hehmeyer, who sits in this field, who says, yeah, but we need to look at the real things that really matter, work with the things that really matter, not just sell loads of supplements and all that type of stuff. So, and the same as the interview I did a long time ago with Dr. Kylie Burton, I want to say it was Kylie Burton, who had the same approach. There are some really wonderful people working in these fields that we can work with, and that are likely to give you real results, because the approach they take is, as Jessie would call it, it's a data-driven approach. And they look at actual solutions rather than just, say, selling you loads of supplements or putting you on loads of medication and all that type of stuff. They're looking much more at lifestyle habits and lifestyle changes, that type of thing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed. I know you will. I know a lot of you are interested in this sort of stuff. Anyways, and Dr. Jessie is one of those people that I I highly, highly recommend checking out. Obviously, I will link to her website and all that type of stuff, right? That is it for this week, boys and girls. Peter at healthypostnatalbody.com. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, you can text. You can text now. As you know, it's in the podcast description. Just click that little link. And apparently I get a text. No one uses it. Everybody has my email address. But, you can now text as well. That's it for this week. Here's a new bit of music. And I'll be back next week, right? Take care. Bye now.
I'm going in. You know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, you know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, underrated like an RC. Black Peter, Paul McCartney. Elevated in a Rari. Camel on me, no safari. I'm the life of the party. Homies round me, Kimosabi. Making movies, Leonardo. Please don't make me cut your body. Making balls moves, no cartoons. Make the ground move when I walk through. And I stand straight like a bar stool. And I'm so clean, look at my shoes. I can cop a Bentley if I want to. I be doing things that you can't do. Stay flexing, trying to look cool. But I think your rent might be past due. I came in and I took a girl. She think I'ma give her the world. She want me to give her my money. I packed up her stuff and kicked her to the curb. I'm flying so high like a bird. Got these haters bent like a curve. They try to go drop it this trick, trying to get a little clout, but I don't say a word. Yeah, you know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, we get it. Y'all think that I'm fake. We get it. All y'all do is hate. We get it. Y'all think that I'm lame. They speak on my name, using me for fame. Yeah, you haters are always the same. That money is all on my brain. I think that I'm going insane. Got the choke slam like I'm Kane. And I'm running till I'm at the top. And my pocket's deeper than a gunshot. And you say you harder, but you know you not. When I drop a song, do you know it's hot? Got a new jack with a drop top. And you look sad cause you got dropped. And we put you out like a bus stop. If you wanna make it, you got one shot. And I don't make mistakes if you come in my way. Keep getting this hit like it was my birthday. Little homie, you later. Just took your place. And I'm spreading out cause I need some more space. You running out like some ammunition. I'm the reincarnated new edition. If you roll with us, you gon' have to listen. Girls on my line like we going fishing. Know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, you know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't. Haters on me to slip, but I don't. Stop trying to come copy mine, get your own. Yeah, know I can do what I want. Haters on me to follow, but I won't.